When the Pennsylvania state government is spending your money, there's a good chance he knows about it. Tim DeFoor has been Auditor General for nearly a year now. It is a state office he says his entire career has led to, and he joins us this morning on the Fox 43 Capitol Beat. It is good to see you, sir. A fellow Susquehanna Township alum. We represent the Hannah where we can. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Matt, it's good to see you as well. And two Susquehanna Township high school alum kids making good.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to talk about the 97 state title team, we are here to talk about money. And I know this is something that you have been kind of pushing over the last couple months, and the simple fact that not enough people necessarily know what an Auditor General does. So I want to ask you there, in the most simplistic terms, what does an auditor do?
Well, just look at us as your fiscal watchdog, as the consumers or the Pennsylvania taxpayer, their advocate with regards to how government spends their tax dollars. And I'm the one responsible for making sure that tax dollars are spent the way that they're supposed to be spent. And the programs that the Commonwealth has, and that the Commonwealth runs, I'm responsible for assuring that those Commonwealth, those programs are being spent, are being run the way that they're supposed to be run by looking at exactly what's going on with those programs.
And you're talking about millions upon millions of dollars that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And in my research before this interview, did I read correctly that you hated math growing up?
And I was bad at it. Yeah, yes, I did. So I overcame that in college. And I had a college professor who taught a finite math class. If you know finite math, it's talking about odds and talking about probability. And he taught it with a deck of cards and dice. And he said there's 52 decks in a card and in a deck. And oddly enough, I'm the 52nd Auditor General. He said if you take out an ace of hearts, what's the odds of you taking out ace of hearts out of a deck of cards? 1 in 52. You roll a dice. What are the odds that you are going to roll a 6, 1 in 6? So what that did was it kind of made math simple for me, because I looked at those numbers representing something as opposed to something that I was afraid of and was intimidated by. And then so that led me to getting into loving statistics, getting into loving accounting.
I wish I had that before I dropped out of Mr. Godshall's 12th grade AP calculus class. It did not work well. Just about 1 year into the job, Pennsylvania's fiscal watchdog, as you mentioned, two-part question for you. In your opinion, has the General Assembly been responsible with our money, and how knowledgeable do you feel Pennsylvanians are with where their money is going?
Well, as far as for the General Assembly, I think that would probably be a better question for the General Assembly. One of the things that I can say is that I am working with the General Assembly with regards to several different audits, with regards to different programs. A few months ago, I did the DCED press conference with regards to that particular program.
Community Economic Development.
Yes. And I'm also going out into the community and talking to them about what this office does, because I'm not sure if the community truly understands what are the responsibilities of the Auditor General's office. And it's one function: follow the money, report on the money, make sure that government is accountable and transparent with regards to how our tax dollars, because me and you are both taxpayers.
Sure.
How our tax dollars are in fact being spent. And we do that by performing audits. And that is the primary function of the Auditor General's office.
So the term audit has been thrown around a lot recently, specifically as it relates to the 2020 election. I know you just mentioned that you're working with the General Assembly on audits. Does that include some of the re-auditing of the general election results from 2020?
Well, what's happening now, when I was sworn in, there were hearings with regards to the election of 2020, and there are currently hearings taking place with regards to the election of 2020. So this office has not been involved with that. However, we definitely are keeping in contact with the senators. We're definitely watching what's happening there. And as you probably know, there also has been some proposed legislation with regards to creating a audit bureau within this department. We're also keeping a very close eye on that. Basically, any legislation that ultimately can affect this office, we're keeping a very close eye on. And one of the things that I've said, and I'll say it again, if something is legislated for this office to do, I will in fact do it if it's legislated.
You said back in July that you had moved on from the 2020 election. Do you still feel that way?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
As Auditor General, you can make a lot of recommendations as to what the legislature should do with our money, but change only happens with them, executive actions as well as laws. So how do you take your position and use it to enforce something, right? Not necessarily just recommending something?
Yeah, here's what we do. Whenever we perform an audit, we have, or if there's any findings, we have our findings, which are what the issues are, and we have our recommendations. And we use that as a tool, not as a weapon, but we use it as a tool for improvement. Because one of the things that we continually have to do in government is that we have to have continued process improvements. So our audits are in fact a tool. And we work with those governmental entities that we do in fact audit to make sure that they are in fact either complying or following the guidance and the recommendations that we've offered in our audit report. Because ultimately what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go back and audit on those findings and recommendations to see in fact that they were in fact carried out.
I want to get you out of here on this. We've seen previous Auditor Generals, most notably your predecessor, Eugene DePasquale, use the office as a bully pulpit of sorts to take up issues. For him, it was legalizing marijuana as a revenue source. Do you plan to take up any issues of that nature using your office as that kind of bully pulpit stance?
Well, not with regards to that particular issue, but one of the things that I am going to be talking about is the importance of financial literacy in the Commonwealth, and I'll be talking about that. We're hearing a lot more about that in the days and weeks to come. So stay tuned.
Just in terms of making sure people kind of know how to spend their money,
Right.
essentially.
Exactly, because
Okay.
one of the things that I've discovered is that a lot of people don't know how to balance a checkbook, and this comes from people who have approached me. So we're going to be doing some things that help out with that. So
I really do appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Fox 43 Morning News and the Capitol Beat. Auditor General Tim DeFoor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.